Today, we are going to talk about why I think there will be few millionaires which will be produced in next 6, 12 to 18 months in wave 2 and wave 3 depending upon how you are positioned in this market. History does show you a lot of different things, but if you are ready to learn from that, now you have an advantage because the vast majority of people, they won't do research. They won't do the diligence before they look at that big targets, right? So here we are looking at different cycles, trying to learn, and then we come to a conclusion that there is going to be big blow in this market. This market, many say it won't reach 5 trillion, it won't reach 10 trillion. But believe me, I personally think we are going to hit 8 to 10 trillion dollars in wave 2. That's not surprising. I think that's going to happen. And why that's going to happen, this is what we are going to talk about, and then come back to the actual point. Why only a few millionaires? That's not just to put in fear, stress and all, but the reality of it is not everyone is clearly positioned, or not everyone understand what it need to go through this cycle and get that benefit of millions running into your portfolio because the money is flowing into this market. Historically, we have seen the flow from the large caps all the way down to the micro caps. But right now, this is what's happening. If you remember, I've showed this in last video, maybe 3-4 videos back or a week back. We talked about this in detail. And I showed you this. I think it will be a few large caps which move first, whereas you see a lot of small to medium caps running. Because you see 100x, 50, 100x there. Then you see few small caps, but a lot of medium caps, and then a little bit large caps, right? This is happening in the market. If you notice this properly, right now the market shows you just this. This is the scientific investor family, where the normal common retail guys come and learn how to become the next top 10% of the world. When people spread fear, disbelief in this market, it's normal to have different thought process. But when you look at the market and ask that question, what are you looking at right now? You see meme coins riding. They are going back up. You see the volume, which is going crazy. Why this is important? You go ahead this, you go look at Xrp, which is a problem solver. This is the volume there. And then you look at the volume in a meme coin. So that does show you that it is riding a wave higher, 2.6 billion. And you got a stable coin, 2.9 billion. So that gives you one perspective. But if you are here looking at what's happening right now, yes, that's important. No one says it's not. But at the same time, you do need to understand there is a ton of money coming back into the market. Different names, tax cuts, stimulus, rate cuts, everything is going to come in. But you need to keep your eyes focused because some areas does not look great and this may burst. But when? In 6 months? 12 months? We don't know. But when that comes, if you are in this market and you're positioned well enough, you're most likely going to make a ton of money, which you can then use in a proper way to make this generational wealth. Because we talked about this. Not a lot of people listen, but few days back, maybe a week to 10 days, we talked about this. There was a huge change, the largest 1 week change in the amount of money in stablecoin, which is USDT, which has the largest volume. And then look at BTC, Ether, which had largest 1 week increase in last 3-4 months. So something just changed. So if you still think this is going to be a fake out, it's up to you. But let's break these down and see like where you will be able to make millions. Maybe in the moon, But if you are positioned well, it's going to be here in next 6, 12, 18 months. So this is the BTC cycles, right? We can easily observe that the first momentum was higher, 2011, that went sky high. Then the next one, it took more time and it was lower in ROI. Then the next one, it took even more time and it was again slower in terms of ROI. Right now, it's taking a long time. Those without patience is getting kicked. Those having committed a lot of capital without knowing that it can be 2 to 3, 4, 5 years are now having issues. But here in the altcoin market, it looks a little bit different. 2013, you had a run up, but it was not the biggest one. 2017, you ran up, it took more time, but you really went crazy. Now, if you are looking at the 2022, it does give you one perspective which is so clear that you did your first run up, you consolidated there. If you observe the last one here, you went up, you consolidated there. Now, you are looking for the next big wave, and this cycle from here is going to be interesting. You observe that the price is breaking through the moving averages, and that's what happens when you're bouncing from the 200-day moving average and breaking your 20-day moving average, eyeing towards 50. Now, you look here, you are doing exactly same. 50, 20. There your 200 days here, but you still see how things are evolving. So right now, when you are in different assets, especially if it is XRP, you are asking this question, okay, fine. Last cycle, wave 1, we did not do anything. Right now, if you look at this, we had this explosion in price action at the end of the cycle. And we are now closing into that frame. We started from 2020 March. This is 2022. 2 years already done. So if you say this is going to be another year, prepare for major volatility. Now, you can compare it with different assets. It's completely okay. This really took a lot of time for me to prepare this. But this should give you that idea so that you can make completely educated decision. This is Ether. If you are looking at this now, there will be conflicts of interest. If I'm looking at Ether and comparing Wyckoff and wave theory, I'm literally getting confused. Like, okay, if that's wave 1 here in this cycle, then wave 2 is like it's going like $40,000. And I'm like, how can that really happen for a network which is not scalable? So fundamentally, I think that's impossible. But technically, it suggests that Ether can really run 30, 50x in wave 2. But who knows what's really going to happen? Because if SEC is going to run behind them, then it's going to go down. That's going to be how XRP played out. But at the same time, if you're going to get clarity for XRP, this is something you really have to understand. Wave 1, we have done 17x here, when in the last cycle you haven't barely moved. You did like 100%, which was nothing. So if you are going to try and repeat this thing with the fundamentals, you are going to see bigger explosion in price as you go further. So it's going to be something which is going to be really interesting, because when you actually take in different assets, there's another altcoin which you are looking at right now, asking like, okay, this is LTC, and then you're looking 2013, there was a price explosion, then it started correcting back down. Next cycle, you had the same first run up, then a long consolidation, after which you started moving up again. So those who moved out in the market, this range, they lost the upside, the real big giant upside. Here, when you are looking at this, this is the current cycle, dark blue. So when you observe that, it's kind of easy to say, okay, we went up the first one, we came back almost to the starting point, and that only happens in wave 1. Clearly, 80 to 99% of correction happens in wave 1. If that's the case, you are going to see the same price explosion in a lot of different assets and meme coin, where people think like, okay, I'm going to be next billionaire, millionaire. I'll just put $500 here. For some, it may work, but for not everyone. The market is going to really create few millionaires depending upon how you are positioned in the market. Now, taking the same perspective, you right now have to go look at the altcoin market. This is really going to be interesting if you are looking at it on a macro scale. Because right now, when you see the price is bouncing, you also easily observe a pattern there. Investors, traders who are in the market is doing something which they have done historically. So if you notice anything here, you will also notice the future upside if you are still in the market. Because that's what it takes. If you really wanted to make this upside of 1300x on average, in this case, you are now literally saying, okay, I should have been in the market from this level of bottom towards this top. Literally, you needed patience as it goes up and consolidates. So if this is the first leg of consolidation and you're starting to move back up now after a long bearish showcase of the price action, now you're literally standing there and saying, okay, I do understand there is a lot of bad stuff happening around the globe. You go look at different asset class, and you're like, okay, stock markets are like, super volatile. You see them dropping, and some of those really were crazy. If you look at this long wick here towards the support, a lot of people were thinking, I literally got a lot of message asking, what do you think about this? This is dropping like hell. And I'm sitting here and asking like, okay, I do see it's going down because that moment the price is dropping. But as I zoom out, it's like, okay, the 20-day moving average is still going to act as a support. If this is going to be the double bottom which we are going to observe in the market, you're going to see the stock market doing something. And if we really don't understand why that's happening, that's something for insiders. But we anticipate what's happening. And that's why last videos we've been talking about this, right? We've been clearly pushing this narrative. There is a possibility that the price is going back up. We don't know why the economy is in the gutter. There is no chance it's surviving, but stocks are going up. If you look back 2020, 2021, it was the same. The economy suffered, but the stock market went up. It does not make any sense, but if you are observing technically, you do see opportunities. Apple is up 7% this week. Now, if you are like, okay, I'm literally looking at this one and saying, okay, that's 7% this day. And now you see, okay, this one is putting in a new trend. It created a short here, which is like a higher high and trying to put in a higher low, now going back up. So you're trying to literally create a new trend. So if you are looking at different assets, now, yeah, you can go look at Meta, which would be like, more like getting kicked off. Now, if you are looking at the Facebook or Meta and the stock price dropping like this, ask yourself, why is that happening? You can live without Facebook. Or a lot of people who I know moved to Instagram or Twitter. They are not using Facebook right now. A lot of the youngsters, they're on TikTok, Instagram, and elsewhere. So you see a lot of mature people, they're in Facebook. Those who are 40, 50, 60, and they are literally like, I'm not falling for all these ads. So the ad revenue will automatically drop down. And they're not really interested in scrolling through all the time. So the user base will slowly go down. And with the investments going to the metaverse, it may not materialize right now, but yeah, 3 to 5 years, when the adoption goes to that side, yeah, they're going to pick back up. But what you need to understand is it started from here and went all the way back up here. People took profits. It will go back down. So the same will also happen in the cryptocurrency market. You will see this going up. The money which we are looking at is going into different markets, especially crypto. And when that happens, you don't want to be standing out and saying, okay, I missed that one. You shouldn't be on that side. Instead, you should be on this side thinking that can make me money. A lot of naysayers will still be there. A lot of people will have disbelief, but that will change. Disbelief will change with a higher high and higher low. They will be asking the same question to themselves, okay, can this be the start? And that's where you see the real FOMO kicking in. So if you are here and you're receiving value, please do hit that like and subscribe button. And for the analysis of a lot of different cryptocurrency in your market, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.